the child of the Romantic movement, as was the revolution itself. But the diligent and reliable officials, having seen which way the Lenin-Stalinist wind was blowing, were already busying themselves with censorship, issuing decrees about preferable subjects and styles, and pulling out the unorthodox weeds. This is always a dangerous exercise in a totalitarianism, since weeds and flowers are likely to change places in the blink of an autocrat's eye. We can be viewed in part as a utopia. The goal of the one state is universal happiness, and it argues that since you can't be both happy and free, freedom has to go. The rights over which people were making such a fuss in the 19th century, and over which they continue to make such a fuss now, are viewed as ridiculous. If the one state has everything under control and is acting for the greatest possible happiness of everyone, who needs rights? We follows a long line of 19th century utopias that also proposed recipes for universal happiness. So many literary utopias were written in the 19th century that Gilbert and Sullivan created an operatic parody of them called Utopia Limited. A few highlights are Bulwer Lytton's The Coming Race. A superior human race lives underneath Norway with an advanced technology, inflatable wings, reason over passion, and females who are bigger and stronger than males. News from Nowhere by William Morris, Socialist and Equal, with arts and crafts, artistic clothing, and every female a pre-Raphaelite stunner. And A Crystal Age by W.H. Hudson, in which people not only have beauty and artistic clothing, but are rendered happy, like the Shakers, through having no interest in sex whatsoever. The later 19th century was obsessed with the woman problem and the new woman, and not a single utopia, and then not a single dystopia, could refrain from tinkering with existing conventions concerning sex. Nor could the USSR. Its early attempts to abolish the family, to raise children collectively, to allow instant divorce, and in a few cities, to decree it a crime for a woman to refuse to have sex with a male communist. Nice try, guys. Created such a farcical and shambolic misery that Stalin backpedaled furiously in the 30s. But Zamyatin was writing in the early fermenting period, and it is this cluster of attitudes and policies that we satirizes. Though people live in literal glass houses, with all of their actions transparent, they lower their blinds modestly for the hour of sex, booked in advance via pink ticket and duly recorded by an older woman in the foyer of each apartment building, according to regulations. But though everyone has sex, only women who meet certain physical specifications are allowed to have children. Eugenics was considered progressive at this time. As in Jack London's 1908 novel, The Iron Heel, a dystopia hoping for a utopian future, and also in Orwell's 1984, the driving forces of dissent in we are female. D503, the male protagonist, begins as a dedicated member of the one state, preparing to send a rocket into the universe with the aim of sharing the one state's recipe for perfect happiness with worlds unknown. Dystopian characters are prone to journal writing, and D503 intends his journal for the universe. But soon the plot thickens, and so does D's prose. Has he been dipping into Edgar Allan Poe in his more lurid moments, or the German Gothic romantics, or Baudelaire? Possibly, or his author has. The cause of this emotional disruption is sex. If only D could stick to his scheduled sexual appointments and his pink tickets, but he cannot. Enter I-330, an angular, individualistic, secret bohemian and alcohol-drinking dissident who seduces him in a hidden love nest.